Now to this, President Trump has made no secret about his intentions to root out the Mexican drug cartels.
For decades, Mexican cartels have smuggled drugs, bribed officials, and unleashed brutal violence that spilled across borders. But recently, they crossed a line so severe that it forced Washington to act. What began as a local arrest in 2019 has now spiraled into a full-scale counterterrorism campaign involving elite U.S. military assets, stealth bombers, and armed drones. This is the story of how one city's 7-hour war triggered America's most aggressive crackdown yet. The day Culiacán became a war zone. On October 17, 2019, Mexican Special Forces launched a precision strike in the upscale Tres Rios district of Culiacán, the heart of Sinaloa state. Their mission: capture Ovidio Guzmán López, son of the infamous drug kingpin Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán. Within minutes, the elite GAFE unit stormed Ovidio's safe house, subdued his guards, and took him into custody. For a brief moment, it seemed Mexico had struck a crippling blow to the Sinaloa cartel. But within 30 minutes, hell broke loose. Through encrypted radios and secure phones, the cartel activated hundreds of sicarios, heavily armed enforcers trained for war. Over 700 gunmen poured into the streets, driving armored trucks equipped with mounted .50 caliber machine guns and rocket-propelled grenades. They set buses ablaze to block roads, rained bullets from rooftops, and turned Culiacán into an urban battlefield. Civilians ran for cover as explosions echoed across the city. Military convoys were ambushed, police checkpoints overrun, and neighborhoods cut off by burning barricades. For 7 straight hours, the Mexican army fought an enemy that looked less like a criminal gang and more like a private army. By late afternoon, the elite unit that had captured Ovidio was surrounded. Reinforcements couldn't break through. Commanders faced a grim choice: fight to the death or risk mass civilian casualties, a government forced to surrender. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador received a chilling ultimatum. The cartel had seized hostages, including 8 soldiers, and threatened to execute them if Ovidio wasn't released. Under immense pressure and fearing a massacre, the government backed down. Ovidio Guzmán was freed. The decision sparked national outrage. Videos of blazing streets and terrified families spread worldwide. Critics accused the government of capitulating to organized crime. U.S. officials, alarmed by the cartel's power, called it proof that Mexico had lost control of parts of its own territory. According to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, the Sinaloa cartel at that time supplied nearly 98% of the fentanyl entering the United States, a synthetic opioid responsible for tens of thousands of overdose deaths annually. The Culiacán siege, later nicknamed El Culiacanazo, wasn't just a failed operation, it was a message. The cartels were now powerful enough to challenge the state itself. The technological cartel. Ovidio represented a new breed of cartel leader: young, educated, and tech-savvy. He modernized the Sinaloa network, arming his forces not just with rifles, but with encrypted phones, private radio frequencies, and digital surveillance tools. These systems allowed his men to jam military communications and coordinate attacks in real time. His fighters were organized into disciplined units, more like commandos than street gangs. Many were poor youths, drawn in with money, status, and loyalty pledges. Under Ovidio, they trained with military-grade weapons and executed assaults with chilling efficiency. In many rural areas, the cartel even acted as a de facto government, providing jobs, money, and security in exchange for silence. Meanwhile, Ovidio managed billions in drug profits through shell companies, cryptocurrency, and small businesses used for laundering. His mix of technology and ruthlessness earned him the nickname El Ratón, the mouse, small but impossible to catch. Hugs, not bullets, a strategy backfires. When López Obrador took office in 2018, he promised a softer approach to Mexico's drug war, a philosophy summed up in his slogan, "Abrazos, no balazos," hugs, not bullets. Instead of launching raids, he invested in social programs, hoping to address poverty and reduce recruitment into criminal groups. But while well-intentioned, the plan created breathing room for cartels to regroup. With fewer direct confrontations, groups like Sinaloa expanded operations, upgraded their arsenals, and tightened territorial control. By 2019, Mexico's homicide rates had reached record highs, and the Culiacán disaster exposed the limits of nonviolence. The second capture. After years of intelligence gathering, Mexican forces, this time working closely with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and military, made their move again. On January 5, 2023, they launched Operation Black Aztec in Culiacán's Jesus Maria district. This time, Ovidio was caught by surprise. In a pre-dawn raid involving helicopters, armored vehicles, and hundreds of soldiers, he was captured within hours. Eyewitnesses described the operation as swift and surgical. By nightfall, Ovidio was flown to Altiplano, the same high-security prison that once held his father. But the victory came at a cost. The cartel's retaliation was immediate. Gunfire erupted across Sinaloa, and neighboring Sonora airports were attacked, cars torched, and roads blocked. At least 30 people were killed, including soldiers and civilians. Flights were canceled nationwide, and entire cities went into lockdown. It was Culiacán 2.0, but this time, the government didn't back down. From drug lords to terrorists. In the months that followed, Washington moved aggressively. The U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control imposed sanctions on dozens of Sinaloa-linked companies and individuals, freezing assets and blocking chemical suppliers used to produce fentanyl. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called it a whole-of-government effort to dismantle transnational criminal organizations. By early 2025, the U.S. government formally designated 8 major Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, the same category used for groups like ISIS or Al-Qaeda. This classification unlocked new legal powers for the Pentagon and intelligence agencies, allowing them to treat cartels as direct threats to national security. Behind closed doors, defense officials began planning something unprecedented: joint U.S.-Mexico counterterrorism missions. America's war machine moves south. For years, U.S. drone surveillance had stopped at the border, but now the line is blurring. Under expanded cooperation deals, American MQ-9 Reaper drones, capable of carrying laser-guided Hellfire missiles, began patrolling deep into Mexican airspace, identifying drug labs hidden in mountains and jungles. Operated in coordination with the CIA and DEA, these missions have mapped entire trafficking routes from Sinaloa to Texas. By mid-2025, nearly 2,000 U.S. military personnel and 140 intelligence specialists were stationed along the southern border, providing real-time data to Mexican forces. The USS Gravely, a missile-armed destroyer, was redeployed to the Gulf of Mexico to intercept maritime smuggling routes, while P-8 Poseidon aircraft scanned the Pacific coastline for cocaine and fentanyl shipments. Even the legendary U-2 spy plane, famous from the Cold War, returned to action, photographing cartel compounds from 70,000 feet above. Meanwhile, the RC-135 Rivet Joint, a flying electronic warfare lab, intercepted cartel radio chatter and pinpointed safe houses across northern Mexico. The intelligence flow between both nations reached unprecedented levels. Precision strikes. Inside the Pentagon, debate rages over the next phase. Should the U.S. take direct military action inside Mexico? Some officials argue that drone or bomber strikes could dismantle major cartel infrastructure, decapitation missions, targeting labs, warehouses, and leadership compounds. The idea is controversial. Mexican sovereignty remains a sensitive issue, and President Claudia Sheinbaum's government insists no foreign bombs will drop on its soil. But Washington has hinted that if cartel violence intensifies or another mass casualty event occurs, it may act unilaterally. In preparation, the U.S. has already positioned one of its most feared assets, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. Capable of flying undetected for thousands of miles and delivering 40,000 pounds of precision munitions, it could obliterate fortified narco compounds in minutes. Combined with E-2 Hawkeye radar planes and satellite guidance networks, this represents the most advanced arsenal ever arrayed against a non-state enemy in the Western Hemisphere, a shadow war in progress. Officially, the campaign remains in the intelligence sharing stage, but according to multiple defense sources, at least 18 joint or U.S.-only surveillance missions have already penetrated Mexican airspace since early 2025. Every flight, every data stream, and every intercepted radio signal tightens the noose around the cartel's operations, and yet no one knows how far this shadow war will go. The United States insists it seeks cooperation, not invasion. Mexico, torn between sovereignty and survival, walks a delicate line. What's clear is that the old war on drugs is over. This is something far more advanced, a high-tech counterterrorism campaign where satellites, stealth bombers, and artificial intelligence now play the roles once held by soldiers and cops. A dangerous new chapter. Ovidio Guzmán now sits in a U.S. federal facility, reportedly cooperating with investigators to avoid a life sentence. His trial is ongoing, but the Sinaloa cartel remains alive. Fragmented yet still powerful internal rivalries and U.S. pressure have weakened it, but experts warn that splinter factions may become even more violent in their fight for control. For Washington, the stakes have never been higher. Fentanyl overdoses continue to devastate American communities, and public pressure demands decisive action. But every strike, every sanction, and every mission risks dragging two nations deeper into an undeclared war. As one Pentagon insider put it, the next battle won't be fought in deserts or jungles. It'll be fought on camera, across the border, in the heart of the Americas. And that's the reality of the new U.S.-Mexico war. A conflict where cartels aren't just traffickers anymore. They're enemies in a battlefield without borders. If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay ready for what's coming next.